We're about 9 days into my ultimate calorie deficit, phase 3. And I just biked from home to here, and I'm exhausted. I don't know how people do this non-stop, really questioning why on earth I'm doing this again. What was 17-year-old me thinking? It's been over 120 days since I started my gym challenge to get in the best shape of my life. And it all started because of one bucket list that I wrote 10 years ago. You see, in July of this year, I perchance found a bucket list that I wrote within a pile of papers, and I went through it. Of the 10 things that were on there, I realized I hadn't done a single one. So naturally, I needed to complete at least one. So I figured I might as well start with the toughest one. And that was to get in Captain America shredded within 4 months. Now let me say in advance, to get in the shape that Chris Evans was for Captain America is something that's going to take me a hell of a long time to properly achieve. However, I was curious, could I push myself to the extent that Chris Evans did to get in that shape? And if so, what result would I end up having at the end of that? Now, obviously, I realized this was not something I was going to be able to do alone. And I started with my girlfriend. I had to make sure she was on board because over the period of 120 days, that's a long time for stuff to happen. I'll get to how that challenged our relationship over the past 4 months later. Second, I knew I needed a coach. I needed someone to properly understand what it's going to take to get there. And that's where Elise comes in. And she had some natural worries beforehand.
So the idea is that we're going to make him as shredded as possible in 4 months. This goes a bit against who I am as a coach, because usually I always try to get my clients situated in the healthiest way, to not have to hurry. And this 4-month challenge is probably not going to be sustainable for years, right? In terms of like what I think could hold him back, I mean, he has a very stressful lifestyle. He just had a kid. I just hope he's gonna manage to really go to the gym when he has to and stick to his nutrition plan.
And then the challenge actually had to start. I now had a week to prepare before it would actually start. Okay, I just finished the intake questionnaire. It took me like 25 minutes. Obviously tried to be as thorough as possible so that Elise has the right input for her to create a schedule that works for me. I still need to like download FitnessPal and for the first time in my life start tracking calories. Yeah, and then as of Monday I'm going to start tracking my calories as they currently are, get an understanding of where we are versus where we're going. And then there's less than a week left until we do this shit. I'm a little nervous. And so in that week I ended up noting down everything that I was consuming. This was the first time in my life that I ever had to track calories, ever. All of a sudden you're confronted with how much you actually eat in a day. Too much of the bad stuff and too little of the good stuff. Now, what I mean by that is that I lacked protein. At the time I was eating about 80 grams of protein per day, and I had to nearly double that. That was going to translate into a lot of protein shakes. So my gym package just arrived. Got my creatine and my whey protein as the coach ordered.
So we want to build muscles and losing fat. If you've had already a lot of muscles and all of that, then it's very hard to keep pushing hard at the gym, seeing progress while you're in a calorie deficit. But this is something we could do with Brian because, again, he will be able to see progress very quickly. The plan that I have for now is to keep him on maintenance and a slight caloric surplus for 6 weeks.
And then I actually had to get to work. Well, this is it. The last pizza I'm going to enjoy for the next 120 days. Here we go.
Yeah, I am a smart mouth. How'd you think I wound up where I am, who I am by now?
Last night I ended up having one wine, which I do feel a little guilty about, but all things considered, knowing how much I normally drink at these events, I'm okay with the one wine. I think the nutrition yesterday was probably the worst it's been this week, just because it was kind of out of my control, which is going to be interesting when I go and travel to the Netherlands in 2 weeks. And the first month ended up being tough to get into, but doable. And then the first challenge came. We ended up traveling. So today's the first day of traveling. I was noticing my motivation dipping and discipline starting to take over. Thinking of way too many excuses in my head as to why I shouldn't go for a run. And although there was literally no time today, But yeah, I'm a bit worried whether or not that's gonna translate into my time in the Netherlands, especially going to like dinner at my grandma's, for example. As much as I love her cooking, I know that she enjoys all the good things that life has to offer. I'm a bit worried about that because I really don't want to disappoint myself on this one. So I figured I'd give a first update of, or a little reflection of my first 5 days traveling. The toughest part I'd say so far is sticking to the nutrition, because we're obviously introducing our little baby to a lot of our family, and then you just don't know how or what they cook. I've been compensating a little by eating less in the morning, really trying to focus on optimizing the protein goals. But yeah, this is only week 1. We have an even tougher week still to come. So let's see. It feels strange walking these streets where normally at this time I'd be leaving the house, getting ready to get fucked up. So that's an interesting development. Hello. I expected that the motivation would sink further than it has. For that, I've been managing to continue going to the gym, but nutrition has been the biggest challenge. I'm definitely happy that I'm not in the cutting phase yet, but since I know I'll be traveling again as we get closer to that phase, it's going to be interesting to see how Elise and I manage to navigate that. But I'm confident we'll make it work. And now I'm going to go crush leg day. I feel like absolute garbage. I just went to the gym at like 10 in the evening and my head is pounding. Each time I was doing an exercise, my head started pounding more. I have a feeling that I'm slightly sick. I even have diarrhea. There you go. Sharing all the details. You're welcome. Oh, and today I feel like absolute crap and really questioning why I'm doing this. I don't know. People then say at least you showed up. I think looking back on it now, I wish I'd rather gone to bed, got more sleep. And after the first 6 weeks were done, it was time for a change in schedule. We had a new approach. We're starting to cut down on the calories already. We're now down to 2,100 calories from 2,400. And that 2,100 calories was quite an adjustment. So first of all, I'm about a week into my calorie deficit by now. Yesterday and the day before I felt like complete shit. Super tired, super unmotivated. Yeah, the first days have been rough.
He's going into a deficit. He's going to be eating 2,050 calories, and before that he was eating around 2,500. So it's definitely an adjustment. We are keeping the same amount of calories though. I am so impressed with the progress pictures that he took, because my concerns are that he's still a bit too strict on himself. When people start being in a caloric deficit, they start saying, I'm in a caloric deficit and I can't have fun anymore, which is not necessarily true. So I will see how that goes, and hopefully I've been very clear and I've been telling him that.
Calorie deficit has been okay so far, but just a severe lack in energy makes it tough to move. Let's hope that changes. Otherwise, it's time to go get it. But if my first travel wasn't enough, I ended up making my life even harder. Midway through month 2 into month 3, we decided to travel with the van. So I just finished my last workout before we go on holiday tomorrow. I figured I would take a time to do some reflection. Going out for dinner today, so I skipped breakfast, and gymming on an empty stomach was rough. I skipped breakfast because I'm not allowed to eat over a certain amount of calories, and I'm quite confident that for dinner I will. It's not advice. I'm excited that we're traveling. I am though, however, very, very worried whether or not I can balance keeping up my gym progress. At least developed a home workout, and I bought the bands and the mini bands that I can do. So I'm quite curious. Probably end up on the Alps doing my morning workout. It's 7:46 a.m. in Barcelona, and I need to now make my way workout with Elise. All right, coach, how did I do?
Well, good. I think most of the exercises you already had a very good form. So either you're amazing or I'm amazing, and I gave you all the good tips already.
Now the grind's gonna start. What are we gonna do? What's gonna change?
What's gonna change? Now we're gonna, all the efforts that we've put from like until now, we're just gonna double that. I will switch to a 6 workout a week routine where we'll do push-pull leg, and we are probably going to decrease your deficit So this is something I need to wait until you manage to finally weigh yourself so I can see how much we've been losing. But the 2 weeks prior to the reveal will get your body prepped for the reveal. That's what like models do as well, is that they're gonna eat a certain way.
Finally a model.
Before.
Let's see, the end is inside. Here we go.
Yes. And then you can just gain everything back for Christmas. I'm kidding. No.
I'll be honest, I think I lost a lot of progress in this month. That being said, I do not regret for a minute going on the van life. Reason being is we wanted to test if this was something we could do for our future. So much so that we actually bought a caravan 2 weeks ago at this point and intend to set off next year to do that full time. So there are no regrets. However, I recognize that to the progress of my challenge, this was probably not most optimal. And the reason is that while I was traveling, obviously finding a gym when you're in the middle of the mountains in Spain is a lot harder. And between month 3 and 4 is a crucial realization that I made. You see, if we assume that there's a relationship between health, business / job, and relationships, you quickly realize that when you prioritize one, 2 of these other things fall. Traveling at that level meant I could prioritize my relationship, and if I then chose to prioritize my health as well in the intensity that I was trying to do it for this challenge, something had to give. And in this case, my business ended up standing still for a month. Now, the same realization was made again as I moved into the last month, whereby I was at this point going 6 days a week. You end up not being able to spend social time with your partner because you need to go to the gym in the evening. And at this point, because you're going to such intensity and you want to push as hard as possible, you are going for nearly 1.5 to 2 hours. And my main realization, the reason why I'm telling you this, is that this assumption that you have in your head that you need to be at a certain level of physique is something that you can also achieve if you spread it out over the course of 2 years. And even if you don't, it doesn't matter. There is a difference between prioritizing your health for the sake of your health and prioritizing your health because you want to look a certain way. And when you want to look a certain way, it's not going to give you the satisfaction that you think, because as I ended up realizing throughout the course of month 4, you start becoming obsessed about the tiniest details. You end up seeing that you have 22% body fat still, even though you want to get down to 12. You end up losing the things that are important because you end up becoming obsessed about wanting to complete this challenge. It's a constant balance between these 3 segments in your life, and you have to question whether or not looking shredded is actually worth losing the other things. With that being said, we go into month 4. At this point, I'm burning about 600 calories more than I consume per day, and I'm noticing it. I'm extremely exhausted constantly. I just biked from home to here. I'm exhausted. Man, oh man, am I looking forward to the 1st of December when I can eat like a normal person again. I don't know how people do this non-stop, really questioning why on earth I'm doing this again. What was 17-year-old me thinking?
The workout intensity is going to be higher, and we're going to push harder at the gym. We're going to do 6 workouts a week. Okay, so that's 30 days where basically he's going to really live and breathe for this challenge, meaning you can't just waste calories on things. No, you need to be very intentional on how you eat, because I want you to have your protein. I want you to have enough carbs for your energy. With regards to his workout, so we're doing leg push pull, leg push pull. What's important to know is that this workout routine is made so that he can really push every single time and almost go to failure for some sets. That's really how we're going to build hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy refers to the increase in size or growth of an organ or tissue, often referring to the enlargement of muscle cells in response to resistance training.
Anticipation is going to be key for him. He needs to pre-plan every single thing to make sure that I can't have one day where he's like, oh, I didn't know what happened. We went to the restaurant and I didn't have anything planned.
At some point, the days start ticking down faster and faster, and the excitement of working towards the end date comes nearer and nearer. Friday, the 24th of November. At this point, that's exactly a week until my reveal day. And after spending well over 14 hours in the train, getting 3 hours of sleep throughout today, I'm back at the gym. Now, I think in a normal situation, I would probably not have gone. And I'm not saying this as in I'm proud that I'm going anyway, look at me go. Knowing that I need to continue in order to get the best results possible is forcing me not to listen to my body. And at this point, I'm going to go now to get in the reps, even though I'm going to be extremely exhausted. And I question whether or not this is actually healthy for me rather than just taking a proper rest day. Part of the jam, it's a challenge for a reason, I guess. And then we're 1 week out. 1 week, and this was probably one of the hardest weeks of my life. Here's why. In this week, we were gonna try and get me photo ready. What does that mean? It means I would go on a diet of water and protein over the course of 7 days. In the first 5 days, I had to drink 44 liters of water. And that's a lot. And besides that, I needed to eat a ton of protein and cut all carbs. All carbs had to be gone. It's now literally the 8th meal in a row that I'm eating chicken, and I'm getting so hella fed up of it. Hella fed up. Luckily tomorrow it will be all carbs. I don't know whether it's lucky actually, I'm still debating that. This was the first time that I understood when actors complain about the fact that they're just constantly eating chicken. I always thought to myself, that doesn't sound so bad until you're eating it 5 days in a row. And I continued pushing as hard as I could at the gym in this last week. And in that last workout session, I got emotional. I felt like I was making 17-year-old me proud. And I still can't really answer the question whether or not it was worth it. On the one hand, it pushed my business to the extreme, it pushed my relationships to the extreme, it pushed me to the extreme. But after 120 days, I can't deny that I got pictures that I'm at least extremely proud of. That being said, the results stand. I often underestimate myself and the things that I can do. And if you're even somewhat like me, you probably do too. And I would suggest finding, if there is a challenge like this that you want to go through, find the people that have the know-how to help you get through it. Because without my coach Elise, without the accountability buddies, without even having the pressure of needing to create content, the chance is high that I would have given up again. If there's something you wish to do in a very short time span, if it is to challenge yourself, if it is because you need to, or if you're just curious, find the right people that will help you come along on this journey. And if I'm talking about right people, I once again want to thank my coach Elise. I couldn't have done this without her. If you're interested in getting in touch with her, I've added a link to her website. I can highly recommend. I wish you all a great day. And now it's time to get back to the gym. Nah, just kidding. I'm gonna go make myself a coffee.